onto the water. She is not just a fellow countrywoman of you. She is from the same province, right? You're from the same province as this young lady. Getting set to hit the water right now, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for Radar Ski's very own Whitney McClintock. And Whitney McClintock had a stellar showing at the Pan Ams up in Canada earlier this summer, I believe, taking the overall title out there with a solid showing in slalom, trick, and jump. Yesterday in this trick prelims was slightly edged out, earned, I believe, 6th spot, so wasn't able to compete here today in tricks, but we have seen her in slalom. And now we are seeing her here in this jump event. A truly decorated athlete, of course, a name synonymous with Canadian water skiing and water skiing all around the world. Her mom, her dad, her cousins, her aunts, her uncles, so many decorated skiers hold that McClintock name. But as we get set to bring her on down the line, kind of break it down, what should we expect to see here in women's jump?
So we're going to see boat speed set to 33 miles an hour. Going to see Whitney pull out wide of that nautique towboat, electing to do what's known as a three-quarter cut. So pulling out wide to the right of the boat, she's going to glide, wait for her timing, make that final approach into the ramp. Slingshot herself, accelerate speed 60 miles an hour, and drive off the top of that ramp. And as you see there, Whitney electing to pass. So these athletes are going to get 3 attempts at the jump ramp. Their furthest jump of the 3 are what is going to count. So that is one of the options the athletes have out there. If their timing is not quite right or their body position is not spot on, the skier will elect to let go of the handle, Dano, ski around the jump to attempt another try. The level of danger has really stepped up here in jumping. Speeds have increased. We've added an obstacle out there, and these women are going to be looking to travel 160 feet through the air, landing farther down the lake. So Whitney there not quite confident in her timing, electing to pass there, but she does have 2 more attempts at the ramp, so the boat will pick her up. She will look to Matt Reaney on the shore, who will give her some adjustments. I'm sure she'll wait a little bit later to pull out, carry a bit more speed, bring her turn a little bit further down the lake in order to get her timing right, and we'll see her explode off the end of that jump, lean out over the tips, fly, milk every bit of the flight, and try and land as far away from that jump as possible.
Well, absolutely, guys, and she's done it, thousands and thousands of times in her career. Has held many Canadian national records throughout her career as well. Well decorated. We've mentioned it before. She's taken big wins in jump events over the years. Looking for her first U.S. Open win ever. Could it happen here today? Only time will tell. The beautiful thing, the advantage about jump is it's not an average of 2 jumps or 3 jumps. It's your one furthest leap. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter if it happens first try, second try, or third. It's the furthest distance that you have set on any 3 of your jumps. Jump number 2, Whitney up and in, and once again deciding to take a pass of the ramp right there. Getting a great eye on it, but you can't deny the fact also that these skiers are jumping into the sun right now.
Sun's a factor. There are a lot of factors out there in jumping, Dano. I know myself, having competed out here in the jump event on Lake Ivanhoe, the setup is very short, a little bit shorter than at some of the lakes, so plays with some of the timing of the jumpers as they pull out down there to make their first approach to the ramp. So on that first jump there, I believe Whitney pulling out a little bit too soon, was a little bit too early on her turn for the ramp there. Look to Matt Reaney. He told her she needed to bring that turn down the lake, wait a little bit longer to make her turn, and it looked to me like she might have brought it down a little bit too much, made a bit of too big of an adjustment there, was a little bit too late, not quite comfortable, and again, electing to pass. And I know just a week ago or so, Whitney suffered a pretty serious crash in the jumping event, so just getting back into things, getting back on her skis and getting her confidence back. So I'm sure that's playing a bit of a factor out there for Dano, but she has 1 more attempt at the ramp, and such a professional out there. She'll make the adjustments she has to, and we're going to see her fly through the air in just a second.
Well, she's a fearless skier, and there's no doubt about that. So well conditioned, and you mentioned that crash she had a few weeks ago. Well, due to her conditioning, she was able to avoid an injury. It was a slight tweak of the body and the ankle, I believe. In her head, possibly a little bit, but she's a true professional, and she knows on this 3rd and final attempt she can hold nothing back. Waiting so long, super late into the ramp, and there you go. getting a piece of it a little bit on her heels as she takes off, but it's not going to be a horrible distance right there. My guess is somewhere around the 150, 160, maybe, I don't know, 150, 165.
Yeah, absolutely. A great setup there for Witt. Definitely had her timing as we watch the replay here. Timing looks really good to me. She comes across, just had her arms a little bit tense coming into the bottom of the ramp. Position being so crucial. Skiers going from the surface of the water onto the surface of the ramp, sort of changing directions as they change surfaces, needing to get their legs underneath them in order to explode off the end of the ramp into the air. So Whitney's position just not quite right there. She had the speed, just slipping out slightly on the ramp, losing a bit of her distance, but still an excellent jump out there for Whitney. Give it up for her.
All right, well, we will wait for that official score for McClintock to post here. The first skier in this women's pro jump final. And she's going to be followed up by our next skier, another young lady who is well decorated. Pro as well as in the world of collegiate, taking a big win just last weekend in the jump division at the Collegiate National Championships in her final ever appearance at Collegiate Nationals. She comes to us from Tampa Bay, Florida. Another young lady who water skiing runs through her blood. The tradition runs deep in her family. This is Poochie on the water, Lauren Morgan. And Lauren Morgan has had some phenomenal finishes over the years. Stevie Collins, let's rewind it back to, I believe, 4 seasons ago at the Spray event, which happened over on Lake Eola, downtown Orlando, Florida. I believe Lauren Morgan found herself right there on the podium. Would love nothing more than to make some magic happen, earn herself another victory 2 weeks in a row. She took the win at Collegiate Nationals last weekend. Can she do it here today? A little bit of an advantage right now as the sun has got some cloud coverage. I don't know if it's in their eyes or not. Guess we'll have to turn to the skiers and find that out. But as she gets set, she is going to take that full double wake cut and setting herself up for jump number 1. Here she goes. This is Poochie, Lauren Morgan.
Making a turn into the ramp. You can see a bit later down the lake than Whitney McClintock. Electing again, as I said, the setup here on Lake Ivanhoe is going to be a little bit tricky. So on the first jump here, the jumpers do get 3 attempts. Look for them to make some adjustments after that first jump to get their timing right. Just looking for boyfriend and coach Damian Sharman on the shore, giving her a few pointers, telling her maybe she was a little bit too late, back it down the lake. Be a little bit earlier. The wind is at the skiers' back here. There is a tailwind, which in the jump event is a bit of a disadvantage to the skiers. They are looking for that headwind, wind in their face, but these are professional athletes. Dano, they can fly in just about any conditions, and the tailwind out there pushing Poochie probably a little bit later down the lake than she'd like to be, but she'll back it up on this jump and readjust her timing and fly on jump number 2.
Well, what's important out here is the safety of these athletes, and not just to our safety crew, but also to the athletes themselves. They always want to have that next contest, that next set. Here, if everything's not perfect as they take the cut into the ramp, they have no choice but to go for the pass. You saw Lauren Morgan do just that, taking a pass on jump number 1. She's going to set herself up for another attempt here. 3 attempts. It's not an average of all 3 jumps or even 2. It's your 1 furthest leap here. And so that's all it's going to take for these athletes out on beautiful Lake Ivanhoe, downtown Orlando, Florida, the Nautique U.S. Open, presented by Orlando Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram. There you go, another double wake cut starting out on the passenger side, cranking over to the driver's side. Big cut into the ramp. There you go. Lauren Morgan taking a big cut there. My question to you, Stevie Collins, was that the jump she was looking for?
I think that was the speed she was looking for. Daniel got pulled up a little bit into the ramp, got on her heels, and you see her skis slip out from underneath her as she came into the ramp. So I think her timing was pretty good on that one. Rushed it a little bit, got a little bit on her heels and pulled up coming into the ramp and wasn't able to get that explosion and extension that we're used to seeing from Poochie off the ramp. But again, she has one more attempt to get that timing dialed in, get that position corrected into the bottom of the ramp to make sure she can get her legs underneath her, explode off the top of the ramp, and see how far she can land from the end of that jump.
So points on the board right now. Do we have an official score for Whitney McClintock? Guys, do we have an official score for Whitney? I can't hear a word.
So that jump for Lauren Morgan, 131 feet. Not quite what she is looking for. She is capable of going more than 30 feet further than that, folks. So over a length and a half of that Nautique 200 further. So she's going to be looking to make some adjustments here on the third jump, making that turn at the 600-foot buoy, that orange buoy down the lake, using it to time, gliding out wide of the boat, trying to carry some speed, a nice turn into the ramp. She's later on this jump. Can she drive through the ramp and get her legs underneath her? Much better extension off the top there, landing a lot closer to that yellow distance ball than she did on that jump before. An excellent jump there from Lauren Pucci Morgan.
All right, well, definitely going to add some distance on for jump number 3. Watching that replay so long as she waits for it, taking the big cut in. And the thing is on that last jump, there wasn't much of a headwind. There wasn't much of a tailwind. It was almost as if when she cut into that ramp, the wind had completely died down for it. Absolutely perfect form up in the sky, flying high. Give it up one more time for Tampa, Florida's Lauren Morgan. All right, well, we will wait on some official scores. Still waiting on the official word from Whitney McClintock. There was a 131 for jump 1 from Lauren Morgan as our third skier of 5 in this pro women jump final gets ready to hop in the water. And there she is, ladies and gentlemen, from Santa Rosa Beach, Florida, world slalom record holder, female skier of the year, past overall world champion as well, ladies and gentlemen. Representing for Good Skis, representing the Hungry Board stand-up paddle boards. Ladies and gentlemen, Performance Ski and Surf. Here she is, here she goes. Give it up for Regina Jaquist.
So I have some preliminary scores from both Whitney McClintock and Lauren Morgan's last jump. Whitney's furthest jump of the set, 144 feet on that last jump of Whitney. So a great jump out there for Whitney. And Lauren Morgan on that last jump, a distance of 152 feet. 152 feet on Lauren Morgan's last jump. So a lot further than any of those other jumps. Lauren still missing a little bit on the ramp, not getting all the height she was looking for, but still an excellent jump, putting the pressure on some of these ladies coming up. 152 feet for Lauren Morgan.
All right, well, let's check it out, guys. Regina Jaquist, capable of getting into the high 160s, low to mid 170s. Can she, will she here today? No doubt she wants it. The only skier competing in all 3 events all weekend long. Here she goes, guys. Check it out into that ramp. And there you go. A big leap, and I do believe we have a new leader.
I'd agree, Dano. I think that was the furthest jump we had today. Such a nice turn. Regina drives so smooth into the bottom of the ramp, and that's that extension we've been talking about, Dano. You could really see her position, her feet underneath her, her body stacked straight on top of her feet, arms straight, driving that angle all the way through the ramp and really getting an explosion off the top, floating out over the tips of those 88-inch jump skis, floating all the way down the lake, and I think that's going to be our furthest jump so far of the day.
Well, an exciting jump at that from Regina Jaquist, as I mentioned, the only skier of the day competing in all 3 events. A couple of the other skiers went for it in the prelims, but Regina earning herself this spot in all 3 events. We saw her in trick to kick off the morning, slalom earlier this afternoon, and now the jump finals. Has fatigue set in on Regina Jaquist? I don't think fatigue ever sets in on this young lady. You know, I mentioned it earlier today. She's a doctor, a compound pharmacist. She owns and operates her own pharmacy in North Florida, spending 40 to 50 to 60 hours a week there, as well as 2 to 3 sets per day, a training regimen like none other. Just a brick house out there on the water, no doubt. Let's check out jump number 2. Here she goes, Santa Rosa Beach, Florida's Regina Jaquist up and in.
Oh, Dano, a huge jump for Regina. She brought it down the lake about 10 feet, kept that nice patient turn that she normally has, popped off that wake. You could really see her drive that hardest lean coming at the bottom of the ramp. That's really where you're going to see all the best skiers really pick up that speed, is that driving from the wakes of that towboat into that ramp. Regina driving as hard as she can, able to really explode out over those tips. And I have a feeling, Jana, we're going to be seeing a jump in the high 160s.
All right, well, excited to see that because she comes on by the course. One more time, Orlando. Give it up for Regina Jaquist.
165 feet for Regina on jump number 2, besting jump 1 of 158. She still has one more jump to come and 2 ladies after her who she needs to put the pressure on. So Regina with an excellent jump 1. Great time and explosion off the ramp. She's going to be looking to bring it down a little bit. Carry a bit more speed through that turn, Dano. Drive a little bit harder into the ramp. Explode a little bit harder off the top and see how far she can milk that flight down the lake. You are watching the 2015 U.S. Open Women's Jump event, one of the most exciting events in towed water sports. Regina Jaquist on the water, making her approach on jump number 3, turning down at that 600-foot buoy, making that glide out wide of the boat. Here she comes. She is a little later on this jump, and she drives into the ramp through the wakes, driving hard, exploding off over the top. Even further on jump number 3. Sensational jumping, ladies and gentlemen. I have a feeling, Dana, we could be looking at a jump into the 170-foot range on that jump. Certainly a little bit further than that jump number 2 at 165, and that's really going to put the pressure on the last 2 remaining jumpers.
Well, she cuts back to shore. Guys, give it up for Regina Jaquist, 3rd skier in this Pro Women Jump Final. We got 2 more international names coming up next. Guys, looking forward to watching it go down here momentarily. Guys, I know you folks have been signing up all day long for that iPad Mini, and we've got a winner. If you hear your name, head over to the Nautique tent right now. You lucky little duck, you, Samantha Walsh. Congratulations. Head over. I hear you and your crew screaming out loud. Congratulations, Samantha Walsh, taking home that iPad Mini. Our next skier, ladies and gentlemen, she comes to us all the way from France on the water. This is Nancy Chardin, one of the most physically fit specimens in the world of women's jump, women's water ski, towed water sports at that. The girl has got a set of abs you could definitely do your Sunday laundry on, and there's no doubt about that. With a solid showing in yesterday's preliminary, or the earlier preliminary round, earning herself second spot off second to last off the dock. Second highest seed in this Pro Women's Jump Final. Excited to watch Nancy Chardin. She has been on a tear, a fantastic season for her, and there she is starting off with that double wake cut. Stevie Collins, what you seeing?
Here comes Nancy gliding down the lake, making her turn a little bit earlier than we saw Regina on that last jump, but this is Nancy's first attempt. And as we've seen some of our athletes struggling a little bit with her timing out there on jump number 1, electing to pass on the first jump. But as we have said out here today, she gets 2 more attempts. So looking to her coach, Jack Travers, one of the greatest jump coaches of all time. Jack has forgotten more about jump than I will ever know, and Nancy looking to him to see what to do, what adjustment she needs to make to move herself ahead of Regina Jaquist, who on that last jump, 171 feet, Dano. So a massive jump for Regina on jump number 3, 171 feet, really putting the pressure on Nancy out there on the water. Nancy, I know, had a personal best jump to qualify for this event, so really at her peak right now. I know has her eyes set on the the World Championships coming up and would like to add a U.S. Open title going into that World Championships, I'm sure would boost her confidence.
Well, no doubt. And, you mentioned Jack Travers, of course, Jack Travers Ski School up there at Sunset Lakes, another great nautique ski school right here in Central Florida. Over the past 2-3 decades, the biggest names in the world have skied on those waters and been trained by Jack and his entire crew, including his sons, both Jonathan and Chris Travers, who are also, Jonathan, of course, one of the top young skiers in the world right now. We are getting ready to bring her down the line. Nancy Chardin setting it up right now for her second attempt at the ramp. Let's see if she can get this thing going. You heard it earlier this week, had a personal best to get herself into this jump final, and just floating it right there, landing just about at that yellow buoy out there, and I'm guessing somewhere around the 158 to 163 foot marker, just kind of estimating on where she landed right there, but a beautiful flight, no doubt.
And ladies and gentlemen, feel free as you watch these jumpers, make bets with the person beside you. Let's see who can guess the closest to the distance. Dana, what's your guess on that one? I'm going with 158 feet.
And I'm going 161. We'll have to see as we wait for those judges.
The official distance, Dan, 154 feet on jump number 1. So both of us a little bit high on our guesses there. If anyone else was closer, congratulations. But that was jump number 2 from Nancy Chardin. Again, looking, Jack Travers giving her advice on the lake. She just dropped her chest a little bit coming into the ramp. You could see her chest drop forward, not able to get that classic Nancy Chardin explosion off the ramp. She is not our tallest jumper out there, Dano, but as you said, so strong and so explosive. So going to look to carry all the speed she had there on jump number 2 through that ramp and get that characteristic explosion off the top. Really look to see her lift that chest, straighten those legs, and fly through the air. So rounding that 600-foot ball down at the far end, that's going to make her nice and late, carrying lots of speed. Nancy Chardin from France. This is her latest jump yet, making her turn into the ramp, driving hard into the bottom. Just missing her kick a little bit, I think a little bit further than her first attempt, Dano, but not quite the jump she was looking for. You saw her throw the fist there, a little bit of disappointment there. She wasn't able to get all of her lift, but a very solid performance for Nancy Chardin.
Yeah, no doubt it's not a jump to be disappointed with. Looking at her right there, everything looked perfect as she got into the ramp, just not the pop lift that she was looking for right there. She had some float on that one, just not quite the distance she wanted. Needless to say, it was 2 great jumps, 3 amazing attempts. Give it up for France's Nancy Chardin.
So really able to see, Dano, how fast these ladies are going, 50, 60 miles an hour, driving into the bottom of that ramp. And as you're going from the water, the slippery water surface, onto the hard, slippery surface of the ramp, very difficult. Timing is very important. Body position is very, very important. So Nancy just not able to get those legs underneath her, but still such speed and athleticism. You really see the difficulty that the jumping event poses for athletes out there.
Well, no doubt. We are on to our final female jumper of the heat. Ladies and gentlemen, she is your current world record holder. She is your two-time jumper of the year, many-time Australian national champion, a world jump champion, Masters champion, the Rabbit, Jacinta Carroll.
Yeah, this girl has really taken the women's jump event by storm in the last couple of years, breaking the women's world record 3 times, 194 feet. So this girl can really fly. As you said, with Nancy, very physically strong. Jacinta, very similar. A very short in stature, very, very strong. And you're really going to see her use that power driving into the bottom of the ramp. And Jacinta is really known for her fearless kick off the top of the ramp. Full commitment every single jump. It seems to me, even if her position's a little bit off into the bottom of the ramp, she just wills herself, bears down, drives herself off the top, and uses that strength to get out and over those skis. And she has just launched some massive jumps in the last couple of years.
What a powerhouse she is. She has gotten her body in amazing condition right now, and arguably the girl who wants it more than anybody else. And there she is up and into the ramp for jump number 1. Maybe not the jump she was looking for, but wow, what distance, what float from Jacinta Carroll on that one. You know, I'm calling we might be looking at the first lady to ever hit that 200-foot marker.
Absolutely. The potential is there. She's gone 194 feet several times, which is further than any other women's gone, and she's really fearless out there. She's not afraid to bring it down the lake to carry that speed. And in the jump event, it's a battle of will out there sometimes. The later you wait to make that turn, the more speed you're going to generate into that ramp. But again, the element of danger does also go up, and Jacinta never been afraid to push the envelope, looking to Kyle Ead, former pro jumper, out on the water for some advice out here. You'll see all of our athletes out there looking to a coach on the water just to help them with their timing and their position. Just jump being such a complex event, timing and position so important, relying on a trusted person on shore to sort of help them out. And great first jump for Jacinta. She's going to make some adjustments, and she'll come in, and I'm sure she's looking to send a jump a little bit further down the lake.
All right, well, we're going to bring Rabbit back on down the line. You know, I had the president of Nautique, Greg Maloon, up here earlier talking about world records getting set behind that Nautique 200. Well, Jacinta set that world record earlier this summer out at Jack Ski School, Jack Travers, with that 194-foot jump. Here she is right now, back into the ramp, jump number 2. Wow.
Massive jump number 2 for Jacinta Carroll. And ladies and gentlemen, I have a feeling that right there is the farthest jump of the day. And Dano, you saw that will I was talking about, getting a little bit of a bobble through the wake, not deterred at all that speed, just willing herself. Watch in the replay, stumbling through the wakes, drives off the top, and just that full commitment exploding out over the tips of those skis to milk every bit of that flight. An absolutely incredible jump out there from Jacinta Carroll, just waiting on the judges' call for the distance. Jump 161 feet, moving her into second place. We saw a 171-foot leap from Regina Jaquist earlier on, our current leader. Jacinta Carroll with the jump you saw earlier, her first jump, 161 feet in second place. Currently in third, we have Nancy Chardin. So we are still waiting for the official distance on that second jump for Jacinta Carroll.
Well, Jacinta, the final female women's jumper of the heat, and she is setting up for her third and final leap of the heat here. We are waiting on an official score down there at the end. They're setting her down to let her catch her breath here as we wait on it right now.
So the judges just making sure they're going to take a look at that jump, make sure they're absolutely certain on the distance. So just setting Jacinta down at the far end for just a minute so our judges can take another look at that absolutely amazing second jump we saw from Jacinta Carroll. And just waiting on word, but from where I was sitting up here, Dano, that looked to be a little bit further than the jump we saw earlier of Regina Jaquist.
All right, guys, well, looking at that jump makes me wish I had my smartphone out getting some photos. Hashtag US Open Ski, US Open Ski, or hashtag Nautique, or better off, use both. And I'm going to go ahead and pop open the feed right now, see what we're working with, and maybe I'll do a few shout-outs to some of the folks here on site. A big shout-out and a hello, getting a great photo earlier in the day at Kai Cabo. A big hello and thank you for your photo. At Sporty907, hello to you. Maybe you'll get that follow from the Noise of the North. Posting a great photo up there. At Joke of Van Bergen, big hello and a shout out to you. Amy Madre de la Roche. That's a hard one to say, but hello to you. Let's see who else is posting photos. Admore Florist in the house. Big shout out to you. Doing a great job posting here on social media all throughout the day. Patron shots. Big shout out to those guys. The crew at Ski World Orlando, hello to them. Seeing some really cool photos out there. How about Bry LaStyle earning a win earlier, taking home a Nautique, Super Air Nautique G23 remote control boat. And you guys can still win by posting your photos up online. I'm sorry, your photos up on Instagram. Hashtag US Open Ski. Hashtag Nautique. Don't forget to tag Nautique Boats at Nautique Boats. Big shout out to the crew at HO Skis. They posted a cool photo out a little bit earlier today. The entire syndicate crew. We've got Jacinta Carroll sitting down at the end of the lake as our judges are crossing all their T's, dotting all their I's and J's as we wait for an official score. I'm going to hand it over to you, Stevie Collins.
So as I look down the lake, ladies and gentlemen, I see Jacinta Carroll getting in the boat, and that is because the distance on that second jump, 175 feet, that makes her our 2015 U.S. Open Women's Jump Champion, Jacinta Carroll, on jump number 2, getting it done with an absolutely amazing leap. She's been on fire this year, winning absolutely everything, and you really saw on that jump there on jump number 2, her just willing herself, driving that body over the ramp, driving hard into the bottom, exploding off the top of the ramp, and she got it done again today, Dano, with that leap of 175 feet.
Well, very exciting action, no doubt about it. And I'm not sure, but it looks to me like Jacinta has now hopped back into the water. Could we be setting up for a glory flight?
Well, Dano, I have a feeling this young lady just likes to jump, and anytime she's out there, if you give her one more jump, she'll take it. So she is doing this. She has already won the championship. She is just doing this, ladies and gentlemen, to put on a show for you today. You are getting the pleasure, the women's world jump record holder, doing one more jump out there for you today. This is just for your pleasure. Cheer her on. Jacinta Carroll driving into the bottom, exploding another huge jump. Not quite as far, Dano, I don't think, as jump number 2, but it doesn't matter. She already had that all sewn up, and just absolutely great jumping, and a great honor to go out there and put on a show for the fans even after she'd won on jump number 2.
Well, absolutely. We're going to bring her back in, and you guys are going to do what you do. You're going to get loud, proud, and give it up for this young lady who did a fantastic job putting on quite the show for all y'all out here today. Ladies and gentlemen, female jumper of the year, your world record holder, and now two-time U.S. Open jump champion, Rabbit Jacinta Carroll.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the Nautique boat there full of our tech crew going to go out to that jump ramp because they are going to raise the jump from the 5.5-foot height that we saw our women jump at. We are going to raise that ramp up to 6 feet, making it not only higher but also steeper, making it so that this ramp will launch our men's jumpers even higher into the air. So, ladies and gentlemen, you are about to see the men's open jump event, one of the greatest spectacles in towed water sports, one of the most extreme sports out there. These men flying speeds up to 60, 70 miles an hour, launching 30 feet into the air, traveling up to 250 feet over the water, unassisted flight. This is one of the most thrilling events you are about to see. Our men's 5 finalists at the 2015 U.S. Open.
Well, want to send a shout out and getting messages and hellos and shout outs through social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook all day long. I know my feeds have been blowing up, so I can just imagine what the feed for Nautique looks like today. Absolutely amazing. Big hello, John Horton, the crew over there at ballofspray.com. We appreciate you guys for checking us out and watching us live through webcast. Here on site, we've got some amazing sponsors who've come together with Nautique Boats to put on this amazing event. Without them, of course, great events like this could not happen all day, all year long. Want to thank Orlando Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram, USA Water Ski. Would like to thank CBS Orlando, Mix 105.1, 105.9, Sunny FM, and Amp Radio 101.9, along with SeaDeck Marine Products, Bud Light Lime, Springland Manufacturing, our water ski sponsors, HO, Conley Skis, O'Brien Skis, Touchless Boat Covers, Allstate, Orlando Dodge, Metro PCS Masterline, Soaring H2O, Jeremiah's Italian Ice, Flamin' Stone Pizza, and Hammered Lamb. You guys, I know I'm going to be heading over there immediately following the event. We are down to the last 5 skiers following these skiers. We've got the podium, the awards ceremony going to be happening here on site. Once again, want to thank each and every one of you guys for coming out here. Our day on the water is not over. You here are listening to the voices of the noise of the north. Dano the Mano, that's me. hanging out up here in the announcers area. We are been rocking it out all day long. Action, drama, and a combination of both. And it's been unfolding in front of our faces all day long. We appreciate you guys for being here. Want to remind you to stop by all of our sponsor booths and make sure you support and say hello to the crew. Any of these great sponsors here on site, stop over at the beer tent. Grab yourself a cold one. Y'all hang tight. Dan Lamano and Stevie Collins, and we'll be right back with our Pro Men Jump Final here, the 2015 Nautique U.S. Open of Water Skiing, presented by Orlando Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram. Not by choice, though.
So hopping out of the boat, let's give one more round of applause. John and Zach Warden out there, our tech crew, raising the ramp. Zach Warden won this event here last year, just short of qualifying this year, but still out there working hard, making sure everything is absolutely perfect for these guys. So you know that ramp is dialed when one of the best jumpers in the world is the guy out there setting it up. And John Travers, we talked about his dad, Jack. John stepped up recently. He's working hard at all the sites, setting up the technical side. Him and Zach just working absolutely tirelessly all the time, still committing to training and skiing at an elite level. Really appreciate everything these guys do. It really it helps out. We wouldn't be here without the help of those guys.
You know, looking at the Nautique U.S. Open promo card, I don't know where these are available, but I know I got one in my hands. They actually have Zach Warden and John Travers on them. I might actually get these guys to sign an autograph for me. Maybe sell that on eBay a little bit later on. You never know. Y'all hang tight. We're going to be back with some jump action in just one moment.
We are about to get underway for our highlight of the day, the Open Men's Jump event. Boat speed cranked up from the girls from 33 miles an hour up to 35 miles an hour, and these guys going to be reaching speed 60 to 70 miles an hour, driving into the bottom of that 6-foot ramp, exploding out over it, and each of these guys achieving a distance over 215 feet in the qualifying round. So wait to see these guys really drive through, generate massive amounts of speed. The 6.2-liter engine in that Nautique 200 going to accelerate these guys to speeds of 60 miles an hour, launching them through the air. One of the most extreme sports in towed water sports, the men's jump event. Bojan Šipner on the water.
All right, guys, Germany's Bojan Šipner getting ready to do it up. Our top five, Bojan Šipner from Germany, Russia's Igor Morozov, followed up by England's Damian Sharman And for the USA, Freddy Krueger and Ryan Dodd. In international heat, no doubt. And looking at these top 5 skiers who made it through here, each and every one of these guys have pretty much made at least one podium throughout this summer, top 3, and a good couple of these guys have actually taken some big wins, some gold finishes already this year, this season. It was a heavy crew to make it through into this round of action, but here we go, Bojan Šipner for jump number 1. Let's see how he fares up and into that ramp, and there you go, guys. First jump of the day in the Pro Men's Division, 6-foot ramp, 35 miles an hour, a ton of pop, a ton of distance, and what a floaty jump for Bojan Šipner.
An excellent first jump for the big German. You see Bojan out there a lot taller than some of the other jumpers, riding those massive 99-inch jump skis. Really driving into the bottom of the ramp, extending over the top, getting out over them. A nice flight waiting on the distance. I'm going to say somewhere in the region of that 200-foot range. Looking to his wife, Krista, on shore for some coaching. 206 feet for Bojan on jump number 1. Just his warm-up jump. He is just getting started, and already, Dano, we have a jump over 200 feet, 206 feet.
Well, 206 foot, you talk about the way to set the tone for the final, and Bojan Šipner has done just that. Bojan, of course, capable of getting into the high 220s if need be. We will see if he can make that happen. You know, with the likes of Ryan Dodd, Freddy Krueger still to go. 2 guys who have on multiple occasions this year jumped well past 230, 235 this season alone. Looking for some big stuff out of him right here, right now. Bojan Šipner setting himself up, the German native, now living in the Central Florida area down there in Polk County. Let's check it out, up and over and in. There you go, another big jump.
Huge jump for Bojan Šipner, absolutely massive. Sailing way over that 206 mark that he landed on that first one. We're definitely, Dano, going to see a jump in the 2 teens, if not in the 220-foot range. Just an absolutely sensational jump from Bojan on jump number 2, really exploding up over the top, off the top of the ramp, getting the lift every inch of that 6-foot ramp. Just great skiing out there.
Yeah, I know, Stevie, before your injury, I know you were a jump technician yourself, and going out there watching Bojan, my question to you is this. First of all, how high in the air is he?
That jump anywhere 25 to 35 feet.
Now the landing, that has got to be a hard landing on the knees.
Absolutely. Jumping one of the hardest events out there. I had the opportunity to meet motocross legend Travis Pastrana when I was jumping down in West Palm Beach before the World Championships, and he watched Jarrett Llewellyn and myself jump, and he could not believe the fact that we're able to get that high, fly that hard, and actually land on the flat water. So jumping, just really an impressive display out there. These guys going over 220 feet, landing on the flat water, using nothing but their bodies and those big skis to slow their descent as they sort of plummet from earth. So Bojan Šipner on the water, a beautiful second jump waiting on the distance. Here he comes, jump number 3.
Let's check it out. Nice late cut into the ramp, even later than earlier. Another big jump. Not sure it was quite as far as jumps 1 or 2, but as we said before, Stevie, it only takes 1 jump. It's not an average of 2 or 3 jumps. It's your 1 longest leap. And watching this on instant replay right there, you know, it was still a good jump, a nice, beautiful landing. I just don't think it was the same distance he had in the first 2 jumps.
Not quite. He really attacked on that one, Dano. You saw him bring it down the lake, and what I mean by that, he turned a little bit closer to the ramp, having to generate more angle. He had a lot more speed on that ramp, but just got sucked into the corner of the ramp a little bit, not able to get all his lift. You could see in the air, Bojan twisting, facing the boat just a little bit, and not able to get up over those massive skis to get the float he was looking for. But with a 214-foot second jump out there, really setting the pace, our first jumper, Dano, already in the 2 teens, 214 feet unassisted, nothing but himself and those skis keeping him up in the air. Bojan Šipner, a great performance out there for our first skier.
All right, so go ahead and give it up for him, Orlando. He can hear you as he comes back to the dock. Make some noise for Bojan Šipner. All right, coming up next, representing on the water all the way from Russia, a many-time Russian national champion, past European jump champion as well. This is Igor Morozov. And Igor Morozov, this guy has been surely setting, making some waves this year, really getting his name known. He is a guy who I'm looking out for next year for Water Skiing's Ambassador of the Year. Currently working on what looks to be an amazing jump movie.
Yeah, I've seen some clips of it online, and Igor really always interesting, always looking to push the sport, try new things, and bring the sport to a new level. He's one of the guys working harder than anybody out there, training with Ryan Dodd. Really, the last couple of years has come on very, very strong. Wait till you see Igor really generates a lot of speed onto the bottom. And as we said, with Jacinta Carroll committing full on to that kick, exploding out over the tips of his skis. Really one of the more interesting styles off the top of the ramp. Here is Igor Morozov, jump one, driving into the bottom, driving off the top. Nice float on jump number one, a solid jump number one there, Dano. Not quite getting all of the ramp there, missing it a little bit, but still an excellent float there for jump number one.
You know, it's going to be a far distance, going to be close to 200 feet, possibly over, but still watching Igor, knowing Igor is a skier and getting to watch him over the past few seasons, he may have held back just a little bit on jump number one. You could maybe call that a safety hit.
Yeah, a lot of the time these jumpers are going to use their first jump. They're going to go a little bit easier and kind of feel things out. Like I said, jumping a large degree of danger out there, and it comes down to your nerve and your will. So a lot of the jumpers using jump number one, they're going to feel things out, go a little easy, get a feel for the conditions and the ramp out there today on Lake Ivanhoe. And you're going to see on that second and third jump him bring it down the lake, drive a little bit harder, and push those distances as far as he can.
Well, no doubt, guys. You know, I want to get back to talking a little bit about some of the video work that Igor's been doing. I can't wait for the jump movie that they've been working on to come out. These guys have got some amazing GoPro and drone angles in that movie, and really hopefully it'll start to help put jumping back up onto the map. You know, obviously one of the most extreme sports out there. You know, you put it up there with moto, you put it up there with big air snowboard, big air skateboard, you know, BMX and everything, you know, putting their bodies on the line. And watch this as he generates speed in that ramp close to 70 miles an hour. Another big jump right there from Igor. A lot prettier in the air, I would have to say. But once again, I just don't know that it's the same distance that Bojan Shipner had in those first two jumps.
Yeah, you saw that characteristic kick I was talking about with Igor, always forward, kicks with his head down right up over the tips of the skis there, and he was able to generate a bit of lift there, but losing a little bit of it, Dano. You can see instead of going up and over his skis, he sort of came off straight off the ramp, a bit of a line drive there, so Igor's going to look to make an adjustment, probably bring it down the lake a little bit to have a bit more speed, and then really drive himself up in the air over the skis to milk that flight and see how far he can go. I believe 194 on jump number one. I think that one was a little bit further, not quite to the distance of Bojan Shipner, but I do think that will edge out his first jump, and he still has one more to come.
Well, already seen some exciting action here in the Pro Men Jump Final five. We are down to the final four skiers, and we have an official score for jump number 200, 200 feet by that man, Igor Morozov. And Igor definitely capable of getting close to the 220s, maybe a little bit over 220. We'll see if he can put it together and do just that. The score to beat right now, 214 feet, held by Bojan Shipner, and this is the third and final jump by the Russian.
Igor's brought it down a lot on this jump. He is late on this jump. Can he make it? Not quite. Electing to pass on jump number 3, just biting off a little bit more than he could chew. He knew he wanted that 214 of Bojan Shipner bad, and he put it all out on the line, bringing it down, and not quite able to make it to the ramp, electing to pass on jump number 3. So his furthest of the set, 200 feet, but still an excellent performance. Anytime you're traveling over 200 feet in the air, that is a great jump set, and let me tell you, it is one of the most exhilarating and fun feelings you will ever have in the world. So make some noise for Igor Morozov.
You guys, be sure to follow Igor out there on Facebook as well as Instagram and Twitter, and make sure you keep up for his jump movie that's going to be coming out a little bit later on, hopefully this year, or early winter 2016. It should be a fun one, no doubt. We're going to our next skier on the water right now. Ladies and gentlemen, a past European champion, English national champion. Coming up next, Damian Sharman.
Damo had an absolutely beautiful qualifying jump, really came on strong out at Jack Travers, and this is the same ramp. The crew from Jack's packed up that ramp, drove it all the way here, so this is the same ramp these athletes went off in the prelims. So we know that Damian is capable of going over that 2:14 mark to challenge Boyan Shipner. It will be a matter of whether he can do it today. So he will go down the lake. The Nautique will make that turn down the far end. He will make his approach at that orange 600-foot ball you see down the far end of the lake and come in for jump number 1.
A quick announcement. We need pro skier Nancy Chardin to make her way over to the announcers area, over to the judges tower. Nancy Chardin, we need you here immediately. Thanks. And here you go, guys. Damian Sharman coming off an injury earlier this season. You know, at the Milwaukee Open this summer at the end of August, jumping at a 5.5-foot jump. Now back up at 6 foot and getting a little heavy on those heels, sliding out a little bit, but showing you guys that true form of a professional. And right when you thought everything that was going to go bad was about to go bad, Damian gets in the air, he keeps it cool, and brings those skis back underneath his feet.
One of the things that comes with being a jumper is that cat-like ability to try and get your feet underneath you at all costs. So Dano getting a little on his heels there. He was late, one of the probably the latest cut we've seen taken so far of the day, and getting pulled right to the corner there, slipping out on his heels, but able to get his skis back underneath him. But Dano, you were able to see there how quickly things can go awry out there on the jump ramp. Skis sliding out underneath him, but Dano's got so many jumps under his belt. He was able to regain control, get those skis underneath him. Not the distance he was looking for, but just a victory to land back on his skis to go back down and take his next 2 jumps.
You know, I mentioned it earlier, the injury earlier this summer, and it was late August. He was still jumping at the 5.5-foot jump setting. He is now back up to 6 feet out there. He feels as if he is fully recovered, back, ready to rip. You know, at that Milwaukee Open event that happened in August, you know, we saw Damian Sharman right there in top 4 and looking to see if he can continue pushing through and putting up some big points, some big scores here today. Into that ramp, nice late jump, big cut right there, and once again on the heels of his skis and able to bring them back underneath him. You can hear it in the crowd. You can feel it in your heart as he took off that ramp. Everyone saw it. Not exactly the takeoff he was looking for. You know, Stevie, as a jumper, can you kind of break down what happens as he cuts into the ramp?
Yeah, guys, Damo is absolutely going for it out there. Didn't back off at all. I mentioned he was pretty late on that first jump. Turned in about the same place on that second jump, and when you cut that late, your body, you're getting pulled right to the corner of that ramp, and it becomes almost impossible to hold your body position. So Damo having to compromise his body position to actually make it onto the ramp there, and those skis slipping out from underneath him once again. But you got to commend him, Dano. He is really attacking out there. He's not backing off. He knows if he connects with the speed on one of those jumps and he gets one off, that he's going to be challenging Boyan Shipner at that 214-foot range.
Well, here's the thing. I've seen him go over 210 feet on a 5.5-foot jump in the past. So imagine if he can put it all together here for jump number 3 off this 6-foot ramp. We could be seeing 215, 220. You never know. Maybe even in the 225 range from this man, Damian Sharman. Damo getting ready for his 3rd and final jump. It only takes one, and it comes down to this.
He is still late on this one. As I said, not backing off. Damo not afraid. Exploding. Great jump on jump number 3. Dano, I think that will be very close to that mark of Boyan Shipner in that 214-foot range.
All right, well, we will wait for the official score. Gonna talk you through this replay right now. Little over his skis on the cut, but everything comes together as he hits the bottom of the ramp. Beautiful explosion, nice takeoff, body position looks to be perfect in the air. nice float, nice distance, and you right there are looking at one of two of the furthest distances of the day so far from that man, Damian Sharman.
Yeah, Damo just willing his legs to kick on that last jump, dropping his chest at the bottom, extending his legs out over those skis, and really a great third jump, and I commend him. He didn't back off that whole set. You saw him having troubles on jump 1 and 2 and not backing off, knowing, hey, if I get my legs underneath me on one of these, I'm going to go a long way, and so he did. Looks like 206 feet for Damo on jump number 3, so not quite that 214 mark we saw Boyan Shipner, but that will move him into second place. 206 feet for Damian Sharman, and that leads us into our next jumper. This man is a man who needs no introduction in the jump event. He is the men's jump world record holder. This man has traveled 250 feet in this event. This is Freddy Krueger.
And there he is, guys, the Nightmare getting ready to hit the water, representing out of Central Florida, originally out of the great state of Illinois. A many-time U.S. national champion, a world champion, a World Cup champion, a Masters champion, a London night jump champion, a champion of all champions. Not only the world record holder for traditional jumping earlier this summer on ABC The Throwdown, you saw that guy, Freddy Krueger, going out there and earning himself the new ski fly world record, 312-foot leap from this man. You talk about a guy who knows how to fly. It's this guy right here, the Nightmare himself. Definitely one of the most decorated three-event skiers, one of the most decorated towed water sports athletes, one of the most recognized athletes in our sport of all time. A future Hall of Famer, past skier of the year, Freddy Krueger into that ramp, jump number 1. Big cut right there, a big leap, a little bit on the tails of his skis, but a ton of distance for the Nightmare, Freddy Krueger. What do you think, Stevie Collins?
Yeah, you see that signature wake jump from Freddy. Freddy makes that nice patient turn, waits for the skis to come around, takes that slingshot into the ramp. You really see him explode off that wake into the air, almost tipping his body over, creating an incredible amount of leverage. And when he touches down on that second side, Dano, it's like he's been shot out of a cannon, accelerating to speeds of 70 miles an hour, exploding off the top, and not quite the traditional Freddy Krueger kick out there. This guy normally goes higher than anyone, and he was really pushing out there. That was even later a cut than we saw from Damian Sharman, and Freddy just slipping out a little bit. But let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if this guy gets his legs underneath him, we are going to see him fly a whole way down the lake. But he needs you guys to make some noise. These guys feed off your energy, Orlando. The louder you get, the farther they go. The world record holder right now on the water, Freddy Krueger. Little bit of a slip on jump number 1, but he has 2 more jumps coming up.
Well, let's check it out. We've seen Freddy jump well over 230 feet many times this year, and he knows the man at the end of the dock right now. Ryan Dodd up next has jumped over 230 many times as well this season alone, as he sets up nice late turn up and into the ramp, up and over. There you go, guys.
Huge jump from Freddy Krueger.
The pop, the distance, the drive he was looking for, it all came together on jump number 2. The crowd goes wild, but let's go back to instant replay right here. Nice, smooth, methodically heading into that ramp. Big kick off the ramp, a little bit off axis in the air, but able to flatten back out. Question to you, Stevie. When he got kicked off axis just a little bit in the air, did he lose a little bit of distance?
Absolutely. You can see Freddy just losing a bit of his direction off the ramp there, not getting all that whip, catapulting him down the lake. Still, Dano, that's definitely going to challenge for the farthest jump of the day, but that just shows you, folks, Freddy's got a whole lot more in him. If he can connect fully off the ramp, you will see him go even higher. You will see him go even further. This man has jumped 250 feet in this event, plus he knows Canada's Ryan Dodd getting ready on the dock, putting the pressure on, and Freddy's going to be looking to go a long way to put the pressure on for Ryan, who's just come on so strong this year, had such an incredible year, and such a great rivalry between these two. And here comes Freddy Krueger into the course. Jump number 3, his third jump, his final jump of the series here on Lake Ivanhoe, 2015 U.S. Open. Freddy gliding out wide of the boat. You see that absolute perfect slow turn, getting his skis around the lake. He is later popping off that wake, driving through, exploding off the top, floating down the lake. Still Dano missing just the littlest bit off the ramp, but every millimeter in jumping counts. And Dano, with that little bit of a miss he had on the ramp there, I think the door has been left a little bit open here for Canada's Ryan Dodd.
Well, watching this instant replay there for Freddy as he hit that ramp, it looked like his body was thrown backwards just a little bit. He was able to recover, able to get a big jump. But as he comes back to shore, Orlando, let's do it the way we know how. And that's getting so loud. Make some noise for the Nightmare, Freddy Krueger. And that's that. We are down to the final jumper, the final athlete, the final skier of the day. A gentleman. Well, before we move on, let's get an official score here. Jump number 2 from Freddy Krueger puts him currently in the lead with a 217-foot leap. So as we sit right now, Freddy Krueger in the lead with 217. 214 for Bojan Shipner, and a jump of 206 puts Damian Sharman on the bubble. But right now, we are going to get our next skier on the water. Ladies and gentlemen, he comes to us originally from Canada. He now lives and trains here in the great state of Florida. Ladies and gentlemen, he is a two-time Masters Jump Champion, Canadian National Jump Record holder, Ryan, the Beast Mode, Dodd. All right, and you talk about a guy who only needs one. Ryan Dodd was in the same exact spot earlier this year, this summer, at the Nautique Masters of Water Ski and Wakeboard. He went out for his first jump, hit a huge leap of around 233 feet, and as we know, only took one on that particular day. Ryan Dodd with the big win. It was earlier this summer. He then, later in the summer, by Water Ski Magazine, was named Jumper of the Year. Can he continue the momentum of this 5-star season with a big leap and win here at the U.S. Open? Only time will tell. Into that ramp. There you go. A huge first jump right there from Ryan Dodd. It looks like everything came together. Stevie, was that the jump he was looking for? More importantly, was that the distance that Ryan Dodd needed to take the lead?
I think that's going to be pretty close, Dano. Right now, Freddy Krueger sitting in the lead with that 217-foot spot, but so I just got word that jump from Ryan Dodd also 217 feet, but when we go to the meters, Freddy Krueger still in the lead. So Ryan will need to go out, take his last 2 jumps. He is 0.1 of a meter behind the leader, behind Freddy Krueger right now, who is in the lead, but he has 2 more jumps, and I know Ryan, he has so much power out there, so much ability to drive through that ramp, explode off the top. He is just an absolute ball of muscle, and he has so much more left in the tank. He is going to go out there, 2 more jumps for Ryan Dodd to take the lead. I believe the towboat's slowing down just to let Ryan know, hey, listen, even though it was 217 feet, when we go to the meters, Freddy still got you by 1/10 of a meter. You still need to go further. So Ryan knowing he needs to step it up just a little bit, bring it down the lake a little bit, carry a bit more speed, get a little bit more height. Let's see how far he can fly down the lake. But this guy has been on fire all year with jumps over 240 feet. The only other guy to do that was the man we just saw, Freddy Krueger. So Ryan Dodd having an absolutely sensational season, and after jump number 1, just 0.1 of a meter behind Freddy Krueger, he's got to be pretty happy with where he's looking right now.
All right, well, let's check it out right now as we get that boat back on the water, the official towboat of the 2015 U.S. Open. It's that Nautique 200. Getting ready to pull this man down the line. Ryan Dodd, guys. 2014-15 Water Ski Magazine Jumper of the Year. Jump number 2 has got to beat a score of 217 as far as feet goes. Into that ramp, a ton of speed, some pop right there, and wow, what float, what distance from Ryan Dodd. Will that beat the 217? Wow, it's going to come down to the judges on this one.
Dano, he is really pushing it out there. You saw Ryan. That was by far the latest cut anyone has taken today, and you can just see the power in that man as he drives through the wakes. Not a single budge in his body position. Off the top, absolutely exploding out over the tips. You can tell he wanted it. Almost pushed that right tip a little bit low as he came off the ramp, but he is trying to milk every centimeter out of that jump. He knows it's going to take a lot to match that jump of Freddy Krueger and his first jump at 217.
Well, we are going to wait on an official score as they take Ryan Dodd down to the end of the lake. And this is where the excitement builds. This is where the drama sets in right now. An official score has just posted, and unfortunately for Ryan Dodd, 2 feet short of where he needs to be. That was a 215-foot leap. He needs to be over 217 feet to take the lead. Guys, we talk about it coming down to one jump. This is it. Orlando, on your feet as Ryan Dodd sets up for the final jump of the day. Setting into that ramp. Big cut, lots of speed. There's the pop. Getting the float. Getting the distance.
Right around the same.
And that is right around that same spot. Will it be enough? Only time will tell. So you guys hang tight, and we will get you that official score at the podium coming up in just a few minutes. Once again, we ask that everybody starts making their way, heading down over towards the podium. And I want to send some shout-outs to the great folks who made today's event happen. But before we do that, as he cuts ashore, brings it home.
225 feet, your U.S. Open champion, Ryan Dodd, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. The judges' ruling came in. That was 215 feet. I apologize. 215 for Ryan Dodd on jump number 3.
Well, that'll happen, guys. But hang tight, guys. We will see him over on the podium in just a few moments here at the 2015 U.S. Open. Guys, start making your way over to the podium here. Once again, we're going to do the awards momentarily. The 2015 U.S. Open brought to you by Nautique Boats, Orlando Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram. Want to thank SeaDeck, Bud Light Lime, Springland Manufacturing, HO Skis, Conley Skis. Would like to thank O'Brien Skis, USA Water Ski, Touchless Boat Covers, Allstate, Orlando Dodge, Metro PCS, Masterline, USA, Soaring H2O, Jeremiah's, Italian Ice, Flame and Stone Pizza, The Hammered Lamb. We'd like to thank CBS and all their affiliates for being out here today. Amp Radio 101.9, 105.9 Sunny FM, and Mix 105.1 and the entire crew. Remember, guys, you can continue posting photos from today's event on Instagram. Hashtag US Open Ski. Hashtag Nautique. Please don't forget to tag Nautique Boats at Nautique Boats in all of your photos as well. On Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, hashtag US Open Ski. And y'all, like I said, we have got the podium coming up next for Stevie Collins. I'm the Noise of the North, Dan Lamano. Y'all hang tight. Get over to the podium, guys. It's time to celebrate a great day of action here at the 2015 Nautique US Open of Water Skiing, baby. And you can dig that. Oh, yeah.
So, Dano, just to recap that podium again, Freddy Krueger, 217 feet, which was 66.2 meters. He is our champion, Freddy Krueger, so make some noise for him. I apologize earlier in what I said, but congratulations to Freddy Krueger, our champion, by 0.1 of a meter over Ryan Dodd, also 217 feet, 66.1 meters. And in third place, we'll have Germany's Boyan Schippner, 214 feet. So that will be your men's open podium. Congratulations to those guys and Freddy Krueger for picking up the win.